Highly anticipated drone deliveries are starting to show up in very select cities around the U.S., but a proposed new FAA rule aims to really unleash this industry across the country. Joining us now, NUAIR President and CEO Ken Stewart. Ken, always great to catch up with you. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So this rule is specifically about making it easier for companies to fly drones outside an operator's line of sight. It can happen already, but I don't think to the extent that anybody likes. So how would this proposed rule be different and kind of open up the highways a little bit more to drones?
Sure. So probably the simplest way to look at that is most of our flights today that we're flying beyond visual line of sight require waivers, exemptions, which are very time-consuming processes because the FAA just doesn't have current rules and regulations that really enable this type of flying. And so with Part 108, what we'll see is the outcome once the notice of proposed rulemaking is done. What we'll see is probably a simpler way that companies can understand and scale those types of operations and meet those kind of updated rules and regulations from the FAA.
I know NUAIR, we've talked about this quite often, is very involved with FAA rules on drones and guidance on that. How much input did you guys have on this one? Any?
Sure. So a lot of things that we do here, in fact, we recently got this letter of acceptance for some of the things that we're doing here from the FAA, which really helps the FAA inform how to create these new rules and regulations. So the data that we collect, the flights that we perform, the operations that we perform, that data is then used by the FAA to help inform how they're going to write these rules and regulations, as well as the commentary that will come from the industry over the next 60 days.
How soon, could this rule actually be adopted, and then how quickly are companies ready to actually start putting more drone deliveries in the air? That's what we've been waiting how many years for now? I know some places are getting at least a little taste of it, but we'd like to get a big taste of it here too.
Sure. So, this is really being fast-tracked through this administration. They've given the FAA essentially 240 days to solve this, to bring, what they do, the notice of proposed rulemaking process. So once that's done, there'll be, a grandfather period to kind of get some of these things implemented and updated. But companies are chomping at the bit. And I think the best part about this rulemaking is that the investors will come back to this space. It's been a very difficult time for investors in this space over the past 10 years. And I think what they're seeing now is with this new paradigm of rules and regulation it's the time for the investors to come back because now there are outcomes that they can invest in.
What did you say about, I guess maybe look into a crystal ball a little bit, about Central New York? When can we really start to see some sort of major expansion or even a start, I guess, of like those Amazon deliveries, store deliveries, your restaurant deliveries, anything via drone here in town?
Well, I think, if you look at Upstate Air at Upstate University Hospital, they're already doing some meds-to-beds deliveries with drones. And I think you'll probably see the medical type of delivery first in this region. But I think in terms of the consumer type of delivery, they're going to hit some of the larger markets first, just because of the density of populations gives them broader scale in those areas. But I would suspect in the next 12 to 18 months that we'll see some level of consumer delivery happening here in the Central New York region.
Maybe time for one last one for you. How well positioned are we between NUAIR, the Syracuse airport, to really be at the forefront of this next phase of drone operations in the U.S.?
I think we're really kind of at the nexus of it, or maybe the top of it. We've had, the past couple weeks, we've had air navigation services and other regulatory agencies such as the FAA from other countries, Australia, Canada, all here kind of looking at what we're doing here, because this is really the first place in the nation and most likely the world where we have both military drones and civilian drones fully integrated with the national airspace on an airport.
Yeah, pretty unique opportunity for people.
It really is.
Ken, hopefully the next time we talk, we'll be talking about what package you got and what package I got via drone, something like, because we keep having these conversations like we're getting there, we keep inching our way, but maybe this kind of opens the floodgates a little bit.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. We think we'll be the prime place for it, and we hope that these new rules really set the tone for it.
Awesome, Ken. Thanks so much. Always great to catch up with you. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks so much. Take care.